Hello. Hope y'all are doing good tonight. In this day and age where there are so many people with gluten allergies, I have found, I actually discovered a long time ago when my son had some health issues and we were kind of limited on some of the things that we could eat. I say I found. Okay, my mom found this recipe for us. It has become easy peasy. When I am paying attention and doing my three ingredients, not four, Lois, 3 ingredient peanut butter cookies. It's easy peasy. I usually go to it because A, I don't have to worry about people with gluten intolerances. 2, it saves me money on ingredients because a normal peanut butter cookie recipe will call for peanut butter, sugar, butter, flour, egg. So if I can knock 2 of those out and have just 3 easy peasy ones, 1, it saves me money, 2, it saves me time, and sure, why not? Now, because there is a difference between gluten-free and celiac, and I am still using my old trusty, grew up learning how to bake on these cookie sheets, and they're metal. And our family doesn't, my immediate family doesn't have any gluten-free intolerances. Gluten intolerance is what I'm trying to say. But because of that, I also cannot cook directly on those cookie sheets if I want to share this food with somebody who potentially does have a gluten problem, because the gluten will leach into that metal. So it's important for me when I'm trying to share with others who I don't know to use parchment paper. The only time that you can get away with not using your parchment paper when you're making stuff that needs to be gluten-free is if your pans are glass, because it won't leach into the glass. But if it's any kind of metal and you think you might cross trails with somebody who's got that celiac disease, don't take any chances. Just go ahead and use your parchment paper. It's pretty cheap in the scheme of things. Besides that, it makes cleanup of your pans a way easier venture. So I have my pans ready. I'm going to go ahead and get my oven set. Okay, sure I am. I'm going to go ahead and get my oven going because it won't take too long to get where I need it to be, except for the fact I think, yep, I'm going to do it up to 375 instead of 350. So here is our really challenging are really challenging items. Okay, sorry. I had used my measuring cup for sugar a little while ago and thought I would tuck it away, and boy did I. I'm actually going to double this batch because since it doesn't have very many ingredients in it, it really doesn't make a whole lot of them either. Again, of course, kind of depending upon how big you want to make your cookies too. So 2 cups of sugar, and it'll be 2 cups of peanut butter. You can use whatever kind of peanut butter you want. I actually have not tried it, but I have thought about it, and maybe at some point in time I actually will give it a whirl. I'm guessing if you would like to use almond butter instead, that you certainly could. We prefer the creamy peanut butter to the chunky. You can do natural if you want to do the natural. Totally your call. Now, some of the natural I will say you may have to play around a little bit with this recipe, because some of them have got so much of the oil on top that might cause your recipe to be a little too runny. So I guess that would be my caution to you if you're going to go the all natural route, depending upon which brand you choose. I know when it first, the all natural peanut butter first came out, it seemed like you could stir for 30 minutes and still have an inch of oil on top. And I don't think that particular kind of peanut butter would work well for this. Probably would if you use the old-fashioned recipe where you use the flour and do it that route. I did not get a clean measuring spoon or cup out because the flour or the sugar and the peanut butter are just going to go together anyhow. I am actually doing this on a Monday, and I had a near disaster right off the bat on my living room carpet. It could have gone really, 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 really badly. The good Lord was definitely showing me favor this morning. But using my words and getting them to come out right this afternoon seemed to be a little bit of a challenge. You know, I just want to come out here. Around and around and around we go. Okay. I'll just settle for smaller knifefuls. Sometimes the hurrier I go, the behinder I get, as my mom used to say. Surely did not understand that when I was little, but boy, the older I get, the more I completely get it now. We can just slow down sometimes and take a deep breath and think it through. Sometimes it really saves us in the end. All right. Number 2. Okay. And now I'm going back to my nice farm fresh eggs, and I will still crack one by one into a separate bowl just in case. Nice. There's one. I like it when I crack the yolk myself and it doesn't do it as soon as I open the shell. And 2. So just remember that this recipe is a 1 to 1 to 1. 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 egg if you're making a single batch. The only reason we have 2 of everything is because we're doubling it up. And I could use my fancy KitchenAid mixer, but for this, it's really not worth it. Besides that, I need to remember if I have any arm stirring muscle memory left at all. Because God knows we did not use a mixer at all when I was growing up when we were baking. It was all just by hand. We were probably better off for it too in a lot of ways. Alrighty, so when we're done, this is what our batter looks like. I'm going to go ahead and start dropping teaspoons on. By the time we get that cookie sheet loaded up, the oven should be good and ready. Get this big spoon out of my way. Now again, if you are a person who is very much a perfectionist, which if you've been with me for a little while now, you know I'm not, then I say get one of the little small melon ballers. You can get them at Walmart, I'm sure. Probably at the dollar store these days. Definitely at Pampered Chef. I'm sure on Amazon too, because Amazon has everything. I just do a teaspoonful of this. Now, if I was going to do the old-fashioned kind of peanut butter cookie, when I say the old-fashioned kind, if I were to do the traditional recipe of peanut butter cookie with the flour and all that in there, then you can still either drop them by spoonfuls, or use a melon baller, or like when I was little, we actually used to get the dough and roll it into balls and then drop it on the cookie sheet. You can leave this dough how it is. It doesn't work as well, I'll tell you right now, I'll show you in a minute what I mean, but it will not work as well with this simple dough as it does the traditional recipe to try to make them pretty, or how do I say that, with a more classic peanut butter cookie design. And if you don't know what I mean by that, normally, most often or commonly, when you see a cookie, peanut butter cookie for sale anywhere, it has a little crisscross top to it. So these are not perfectly even. I think they're pretty close for just using my eyeballs. But you can try, if it's important to you, to have a more signature look to them or a more finished look to them. You are certainly welcome to go ahead and try to do your fork. You could try a mashed potato thing, masher if you have one, an old-fashioned one, as I hope to show you in a minute. These are just such a soft dough, but it just, let me try one more here. It just does not really work as well as it would with a traditional dough. It's just a little too soft to hold your crisscross. So I'm going to pop these in the oven for about 8 minutes. We'll take them out, take a look, see what we think. Hi. Okay, so what I have found is that about 13 minutes actually is about perfect. These are just a little bit soft to the touch yet, as I get too close, a little too soft. But because I'm going to leave them on the pan for just a couple minutes, they will continue to cook because of the heat of that pan. So it's better, in my opinion, if you do it just a little bit under, a little bit squishy, and let them finish on the pan, than to leave them in the oven a little bit longer, because that way you don't have such a tendency to get them burned as would happen in my world. So this is a plate of the ones that are done. These are two of the ones that I had tried to do the fork on, and as you can see, this one held the pattern just a little bit, but this one is completely sad. So, and a little bit more done on the bottom than I personally like, but it's gonna be just fine. It is now 7:30 at night, and what I want to do with this cookie right now is make a pot of coffee so that I have a cup of coffee that I can dunk my cookie into. That was one of the treats that I had growing up with my dad. Coffee and cookies. Mom, it would always be milk and cookies, but whatever you like. Hope you enjoy them. Bye.